We're so glad you've joined us for Her Why, where we celebrate the women who make BYU sports great. This is Practice Chats with Annie Robinson
and Christy Solomon.
The day this episode drops is day 1 of the NCAA Track and Field Championships, where Riley Chamberlain will be in Oregon competing with her team for some serious track glory.
We're so excited to have Riley Chamberlain here on the show today. Riley has been a key part of BYU's championship-winning teams in the Distance Medley Relay at the 2024 and 2025 Indoor Track Nationals, and she also helped lead the Cougars to the 2024 cross-country national title.
Practice Chats is where we get to know athletes a bit better after practice, but today is extra fun because Christy and Riley are teammates. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
So let's get right into it. Riley, you just qualified for nationals in the 1500. How are you feeling heading into that, especially knowing you've already been on some of the biggest stages in college running? Does it give you some extra confidence?
Yeah, I'm feeling very confident going into it. The race kind of played out exactly how I had hoped it would. And the 1500, just the way it's run is normally very tactical, and just positioning is everything, and then being able to have that fast last lap. And I feel like I just executed it very well, and sometimes I've had a hard time with that, so I'm feeling pretty good going into nationals.
When you head into a big meet like nationals, what do you tell yourself to stay composed and grounded?
I feel like one thing for me this year has just been like faith over fear. Like whenever I start to like get a little nervous or a little scared about something, I'm like, well, I've done everything I can do. Like I know my coach is the best, and I know that God will take care of me.
Can you take us through the race that qualified you and your team for nationals?
So I was the first heat. In the second heat was Carly. She has a school record now, and Lexi Goff. And then in my heat, it was me and Taylor Rotinsky. And I feel like just our group, the vibes have been really great. They're just the best teammates. And so before we just like said a prayer and asked for faith over fear, and that we'd be able to execute during the race, because sometimes it's hard to make those like split-second decisions. And I like got in the race. I got almost into the position that I wanted, but I was a little far back. But I just like had a sense of like calm. I was like, no, I think I'm good here. I looked over at my coach as I came around the first lap. She's like you're good. And then I knew the people around me. There was one girl from Oregon and one girl from Washington. I knew that they would be the ones to kind of take it and move. And then I was a little bit off of them. And so, but as the race went on, they kept picking it up, and other girls just kept dropping off. And so I just made moves around and then worked my way right up behind them. And then we went into the last lap, and I was like, oh, like, we're already to the last lap. Like, it went by kind of fast. And I was feeling pretty good. And then going into 200 to go, I moved around the Oregon girl, got right up on the Washington girl, and I wasn't able to quite outkick her, but I got pretty close, and we were within like 0.2 of a second of each other. And I don't know, I just finished pretty accomplished. I PR'd, so it was
amazing.
Yeah,
I love it. What goes through your mind, like, through that final push when you're, like, almost there and you're about to finish? Like, what are you thinking?
I feel like I'm not thinking too much. It's just like adrenaline. Like, I want to win.
There's, like, so many thoughts and so little at the same time.
It's just like, okay, everything you have, knee drive. Like, I'm thinking about picking my knees up, swinging my arms, and that's about it. Yeah.
And then you are the anchor leg on the Distance Medley Relay as well. So how does that role get picked? Like, how do your coaches go about that?
I feel like it's kind of a combination of everything. Like, some people have their individual events, and they'd rather run that over the DMR. And then it's also just like kind of like reliability, who's been the most consistent, and then who's the fastest, like practice, races, whatever. And so I think for the mile leg, I'm a pretty strong miler. And then Jenna ran the 1200, and she had a lot of quick turnover to be able to run the little bit shorter leg. And then, so it just kind of gets picked from there. Whoever has the strengths to run that leg. So.
Do you like being last?
I do.
I was going to say, do you feel a lot of pressure, or do you just enjoy it?
sometimes
You're taking it home.
I feel like I
Win.
can't think about it too much.
Yeah.
So, but I do like being last. It's like fun to like kind of watch my teammates. They all get their job done. I'm like, okay, they did it. I can finish it up. And like at the end of the day, it's just as long as you gave your best, like nobody's gonna be mad.
So you've won 3 national titles, 2 in the indoor distance medley relay and 1 in cross country. Let's break each of those down. What made each of those titles so meaningful to you?
Oh wow. I guess cross country, and I feel like our first DMR championship kind of like went hand in hand. So we came off a pretty disappointing cross country season in 2023. We went in like we were supposed to podium and we took 14th. And so we kind of just went into indoor like, okay, we need to switch our mindsets. We need to like get this figured out. That cannot happen again. It just kind of like all crumbled at nationals that year. And so going into indoor, it was just like, okay, like we're going to enjoy this sport. Like this is a gift. We get to do this. And so winning the DMR was just kind of like, we talk about butterfly moments a lot, like the caterpillar turns into a butterfly. And so I feel like that was just so special. Like all the hard work did pay off versus like cross when it was just so disappointing. And then to be able to make a full circle moment into cross and win cross last year, that was just like, that's probably one of my favorite memories. It was just so fun. Like our team, like the vibes, everybody was just so happy to be together every day at practice. The races we worked together versus like the year before we weren't really working together and like meshing well. And so it was kind of like coach called us like a ticking time bomb. Like, and so, to be able to make that full circle moment was just so special. And then this year's DMR, I mean, back to back, that was just so much fun and with a totally different crew, minus Sammy, and Tessa being a freshman. It's just like, it's fun because you watch everyone else's journeys and like being able to see what got them to that moment and what that means for them. It's just different, but all of them are so special for different reasons.
What do you remember most about those wins?
I think for cross, it was the prayer after the race. Normally we say prayer like before the race, but the prayer after the race, just thanking Heavenly Father for allowing us to be able to execute the way we knew we could. That was probably one of my greatest memories. And like also seeing Coach Taylor, like she also put so much work into us. And so seeing how happy that made her as well. That's probably my favorite from cross. And indoor, 2024, the DMR, I think probably like finishing and like turning and seeing like all my teammates like running at me as I like finished, and then like seeing Coach Taylor jumping up and down on the side. That was probably my favorite memory from that one. And then the DMR this year, kind of just the same. Like Tessa was the first one to hug me, her little freshman. So that was so fun. And then like coming like around the last lap and knowing that like, okay, like I got this, and hearing Coach Taylor screaming and running down the other side. There's just like so many split-second moments that I'm like, I'll remember that forever.
I love the imagery.
Yeah.
They're all so special, and you mentioned that the cross-country one was like really special too, but is there one that you're most proud of?
Honestly, probably cross. So many things have to come together for that one. Like you have to put 7 people on the line that are all confident, ready to work together, like have put it all together. And like so many things can happen with 200 people in the race. And so I think just being able to put that one together and stay calm, and yeah, that one. And it's a long season. It's hard to stay healthy the whole year with how hard we're all working. And so, yeah, probably that one.
That's fun. For the past 3 years, your NCAA career hasn't always been wins after wins, like never is. It's not always smooth and perfect. What have you learned the most from the losses?
Just, it's how you bounce back from the losses. Just the mindset, like, you just always have to have a growth mindset. So when you get like kicked down, it's kind of just, it's how you get back up. Like obviously like take a second to like mourn that and feel that, remember what that feels like, but also like, okay, like what made that happen and how can I fix it next time? And so, last year my outdoor track season was like pretty hard, and the whole season I just kind of was like, I don't know, it was my mindset where it wasn't where it should have been. And so I finished the season just like pretty exhausted and tired and just like, okay, like why am I like really doing this? And so I spent all summer trying to fix that, and then that was going into cross. So
Coming out of high school, you were recruited by BYU, Oklahoma State, Alabama, Oregon, Northern Arizona. Like, the list goes on and on. You had a lot of options. So what ultimately led you to choose BYU?
honestly, like I wasn't totally sure about BYU, but I'd prayed about it and I was like, yeah, I think that's the spot. And then obviously Coach Taylor and then Jenna Hutchins, she's also in my recruiting class and she committed and she was kind of like, she was like the name, like everyone knew who she was. And I was like, okay, like she's going to BYU. I was like, I'll have a great recruiting class. Like, and so it all kind of came together for me. All the pieces fit.
The women's distance team at BYU is loaded with so much talent, but you guys seem very close and like have a close relationship too. And like we can see that with your coach as well. But what makes that sisterhood so special to you?
I think, I mean, I couldn't do it without any of them, but I think it's just like, it's how our leaders are. Like, the leaders just make the vibe of the rest of the team, and we have some amazing leaders on the team. I mean, Christy's one of them. And so, yeah, but I think just having the sisterhood, like when you have your highs and your lows, like they celebrate and help you through all of them. And so I think that just makes the journey a lot more memorable. Like you're not always going to remember the times that you run or like the wins necessarily that you get, but you'll always remember like the vibes and the friendships and everything you come away with in that aspect.
This is a question just for fun, but you've probably done so many meets that you can't even count, track meets. But do you have an irrational runner fear, like tripping on an inner rail or losing a shoe in the middle of your race or like something really random that worries you before?
Trying to think. Probably getting tripped. That's probably one of my biggest fears, especially like a big race, getting tripped. Oh, that would be awful. I feel like my shoes, I typically like make sure they can't come
You're
on.
triple knotted.
Yeah. But getting tripped, especially like my stride's pretty long. And so like just people stepping on my heels or like, that's probably one of my biggest fears.
Is there a race you think about a lot, not because of a win or a personal best, but just because of how it felt to be in that race?
Trying to think. I think, okay, one big moment for me was freshman year. It was my first indoor race. I'd never ran indoor before because I was from California. And I came in, like my PR from high school was 4:45 in the mile. And I came into that indoor race and I kind of just was like, in high school, I feel like I was always like, there was like this big front pack of like girls my age. And I was kind of always like right on the back of that. Like other girls were running like 4:38. And so I came in and like all of us split off to different colleges. And I was like, I'm going to be able to compete. Like I went to one of the best schools in the nation. I'm going to be able to compete with them now. And so getting into that race, I kind of just like full sent it. And I came away with a new mile PR of 4:33. And I qualified for nationals. And so I didn't win the race, but like that was probably one of my favorite memories just because like it was like, okay, like I'm like elevating. Like I made the right decision. I already knew I made the right decision, but like kind of like watching the pieces really come together. That was a big moment for me.
The outdoor season is all about individual times and titles, but cross country is a lot more team driven. How does your mindset shift between those two types of races?
I feel like cross country, it's typically like you're not necessarily trying to see what you individually can do. So like when you're in the race and you're thinking, should I make that move? I might die if I make that move. Should I stay here with my teammate and help her along like a little longer? Like it's always like, okay, like I'm going to play it safe so that like in the end I can close harder. So you're kind of like, you're not less gutsy, but like you're a little more like cautious. Like the team goal is what matters. Like those 4 extra spots, like they do matter, but like on the back end you could lose a lot more. And so I think like you're always considering your teammates and where they're at and what they're doing and like how you can help them. And versus kind of like indoor, you're like, should I make that move? I might die. Go make that move. So yeah,
It's so tactical.
yeah, it is.
And between cross country and track, to be honest, which one do you love more? And you can't say both. You have to pick one.
Okay. I think I'm a track girly for sure. I just love the mile, love the speed, love the workouts. Yeah, cross is awesome for the team aspect, just like everyone comes away so much closer. But I think just for me personally, like, yeah, I love track. It's my favorite.
Your dad actually ran at Weber State. How has he influenced you as a runner?
He's helped me a ton. Before I got into running, I didn't even know that he ran. He never really talked about it. But once I started running and everything, I found that out, and then I was constantly looking for ways to get better, and he's like, well, like, he was trained by a really great coach, and I think that coach actually coached Ed when Ed was running pro. And so he kind of trained me through middle school, high school, and yeah, my dad's definitely one of the biggest reasons why I'm here now. He's definitely pushed me to get to where I'm at. So
when did he let your coaches like take the reins?
He so through my junior and senior year, he kind of would like ask Coach Taylor for like advice on different things once I committed. But he always told coaches, like, as soon as she gets there, like, she's all yours. Like, I think it kind of stressed him out a little bit, because if I'd have a bad day, he'd take it like, oh, like, I didn't do what I needed to do to help her. And so I think letting me go to Coach Taylor, it was just kind of like, oh, I can just like be your dad and cheer.
Let's talk about your NIL deal with Nike. That's a pretty amazing achievement.
Thank
That is
you.
so cool. I've seen your pictures on Instagram too.
Thanks so much.
Those are so cool. Does that make you excited to see where you could go professionally
I think,
in track
yeah.
after college?
Yeah, for sure. I'm super excited. I think it's just like being able to build those relationships now and know that I just have like a brand that'll like help support me in my dreams, and it's already investing. Like, I'm not necessarily like the top yet, but they're investing in me and my dreams, and they believe in where I also think I can go and where Coach Taylor thinks I can go. It's just, yeah, it's really special.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
How does that work? Like, do they reach out to you, or like how does that happen?
From like what I've heard, like they kind of watch all the different runners in the NCAA. They kind of look at like who's being coached by who. And so like we're a Nike school, and like Coach Taylor's a Nike coach, and she has her pro group going. And so it's kind of like, oh, like if we sign Coach Taylor's like college women, like they'll kind of probably filter into pro life, and they'll have like more of a smooth transition into like the pro lifestyle. And so yeah,
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Do you get a bunch of gears? I love it. It's so fun.
I
That's so
love it.
cool. We were looking at your BYU bio, and we saw that you have many talents and things you like to do. So you like to play the piano and the ukulele, and you like photography and being outdoors and wake surfing. So you have a lot of interests outside of running. What is something you don't like or you're not good at?
Something I don't like or I'm not good at, I'm not very coordinated at all. That's why I run. So anything like, I don't know, volleyball, basketball, like spike ball, whatever, like I'm just not great at it. I'll like try it, but it's just not my thing. So I really love watching all the people that can do it. Yeah, that's definitely something I'm not good at.
I'm like, you should bring your ukulele in and play for us.
I'll just play while everybody plays spike ball.
That would, oh my God. Yeah.
So you are heading now into your senior year after this next week of competing. What are you most excited about for your final year competing for BYU?
Oh, I think I've really watched how, like, I talked about our leaders, like Lexi, Megan, Christy, like all these amazing people that are just taking care of me, like throughout my years at BYU. And I feel like just like now being a senior, I'm excited to hopefully be able to like continue that on and like put everything I've seen and all the like love that I've been given and hopefully give it back to some freshmen and sophomores. And yeah, Coach always talks about leaving like your legacy, and I don't want it to be like times or whatever else. Like I want people to remember me for me.
We're here with Riley Chamberlain, BYU track and field and cross country star. Thank you so much for coming in with us.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
This episode was produced by me, Annie Robinson.
And me, Christy Solomon.
Her Why is a production of BYU Radio.